Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, the 28th of November. It'll be December very soon. Dottie and I are on a little bit of a mission. We need to go into Carlsbad, a little bit longer drive, and we're going to be going there. I need to go to Lowe's because I need to buy a new bin for all the tools and things that I carry in the back of my truck for travel days. The bin that I have is kind of breaking apart. Bought a cheap one. I'm going to buy a more sturdy one. And also, we need to gas up. We're down to almost empty. We want to have a full, robust tank for our departure day after tomorrow, first thing Sunday morning. And I've been packing things into the truck, getting ready to go. I've done quite a bit. There's not that much more to do, and I'm going to be ready. But here's what I want to talk to you about today. So let's flip this around. Look at the road instead of me and Dottie. Here we go. I did a video that I released this morning, and it was about Thanksgiving Day, how I spent Thanksgiving Day. And I talked a little bit about what it's like for many nomads and what it's like for nomads relating to holidays, in particular Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And I did not anticipate the degree to which I touched on some very sensitive nerves. And that doesn't mean that people were upset, not at all. People were talking about their experience in their relationship with these holidays, and in a lot of cases in some kind of heartbreaking ways. I underestimated the number of nomads out there that really struggle with holidays, whether it is a reminder of less than ideal family situations growing up, or divorces, deaths, family estrangements. It runs the gamut. And I realize how fortunate that I am that I really have nothing but positive feelings about these holidays in my childhood. And I haven't really lost anyone in my life that I connect to the holidays. So it really, reading about what other people are experiencing really gave me a sense of gratitude and how lucky I am that I'm okay with these holidays. But I recognize that many of you are not. And I feel for you. I really do. I talked about the ways that I deal with the holidays, being on the road and not being around family, and that is, I'm not going to repeat those. I'll put today's video, or it'll be, when you see this, it'll be yesterday's video on Thanksgiving. I'll put that at the end if you want to see the various things that you can do in Quartzsite, in particular, to celebrate and be with people during those holidays. Some people, however, do not want to be spending time with other people during those holidays. Sometimes there's a pressure to be smiling, in a good mood, in a party atmosphere, and there are people that just don't experience that at a Thanksgiving dinner. It's hard for them, and I get that, and they end up spending time alone, with, I think somebody said that it's me and my two cats, or me and my dog, and I can certainly understand that. I have spent more than one Thanksgiving or Christmas by myself, and it's not saying that that is the wrong approach to take at all. Each to his own. I would encourage people that if you're not happy doing that, to at least try some other things. Try the suggestions that I had about groups that are in Quartzsite that are all inclusive. And no matter where you live, there's going to be a thing like probably a good resource for these celebrations are your local senior center. And often the local senior center will put on a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner, and you don't need to know anyone to go to one of those and participate. And if you want to, you can sit by yourself and take comfort in being in a room with people. You don't have to interact. Or maybe you'll interact and you'll meet new people. Who knows? But I would encourage you, if you are spending time alone and if that's not working for you, there are other things. Oh, that's the 50-mile warning for the gas. So it means I'm getting down maybe 5 or 6 gallons, 6 or 7 gallons left. And even Quartzsite, with all the thousands of nomads there, can occur sometimes as a lonely place. And what I like about it is no matter how I feel, there's always an opportunity to be around people that are like me. A big event that I think in January in Quartzsite that is very much like that is the Rubber Tram Rendezvous. And those of you that aren't familiar with that, the YouTube channel Cheap RV Living was started by Bob Wells. And Bob has probably seen him before. Big kind of Santa Claus looking white beard. And he does lots of videos on nomad life and living in your car, living in a cargo trailer. He does lots of interviews, and he is widely regarded as the most prominent figure in modern U.S. RV, car, etc. nomad life. And he did create a nonprofit called Homes on Wheels Alliance, HOWA, refer to it. That's the acronym, HOWA. And years ago, he started a gathering in, I believe it was out in Skadden-Wash, that he dubbed the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous. And I think the first year, maybe 20 or 30 people showed up. And when it got into 1,000 or more, the BLM people said, you can't continue to do this every year. You can't do it. It's against the rules. So what he ended up doing is that got folded into his nonprofit Homes on Wheels Alliance. So for the past, I think 4 years, it's been at a official place. In the last 2 or 3 years, it's been at the main town park in Quartzsite, and it happens the week just prior to the Big Tent show, which is usually around the 20th or 21st, the Big Tent shows. So he tries to have this event in that basically Monday through Friday. The Big Tent usually starts on a Saturday, so he'd have his event Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it doesn't cost anything to go. There's entertainment, there are classes, there is opportunity for fellowship, there's assistance, there's a giveaway pile. If you can't afford something and you need something, you might find it there. And you can find a lot of support from that community in that week. And if you're willing to do that and put yourself out there just a little bit, I can rest assured that you can make some pretty good nomad friends. And if you feel like I don't usually feel like I belong to things, and I get nervous around crowds, and I just don't think it's for me. You're going to meet a bunch of people that feel exactly the same way. You're going to find kindred spirits there. And that is the main thing at Quartzsite that gives you access to the community, the nomad community. To me, in a lot of ways, it's the center of it. So I highly recommend that. I think what I'm going to do is I get into Carlsbad here. I think I'm going to just get the fuel first, and then hit Lowe's on the way out. So, is everybody in the nomad community a kind soul that you can trust unconditionally? Of course not. I found the vast majority fit that description, but there are exceptions. You do need to be a little cautious, as you do in any walk of life or group of people. But maybe back a little bit to the holiday thing. I've said I've gone to potlucks at various camps in Quartzsite. I've gone to restaurants that have specials for the holidays. I've done all those things. And has it been 100% success? No. I had a couple of them that I didn't think were that great. One of the things I really love about potlucks, you sort of go and fill your plate, sit down with people, and you could fade out and leave real quickly. It's better than, to me, like more of a formal Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner where you're invited to somebody's house, and it's sort of very noticeable when you arrive and noticeable when you leave. But these things are not really like that at all, especially the potlucks. I was at one yesterday, and I think I arrived about 10 minutes before, and I didn't stay any more than an hour. I don't think anyone thought less of me or even really noticed. This looks like desolate desert, doesn't it, here? But there's a road that we already passed that if you drive out about, I don't know, about 20 some odd miles, you find yourself in the mountains in this federal park that is got huge waterfalls, and it's spectacular. And even the drive out there is spectacular. Less than 30 miles from here. You wouldn't think so, but it's here. And then if I kept going here, about another 30, 40 minutes outside Carlsbad, we'll find ourselves at Carlsbad Caverns, which I understand is spectacular. And no, I have not been there, and I keep promising I'm going to do a video and go there. I was a little sidelined by the government shutdown because it shut down Carlsbad Cavern. And it's been too close and too many things going on for me to go over there after the shutdown, but before I leave Quartzsite on so I'm gonna think there's a real good chance in the spring. When I get back here in March, I will go to Quartzsite. Hey, I got a kind of upset comment about someone was very upset that I had turned my back on the nomad life and gotten this house here, and I'm no longer on wheels. And I think they've really misunderstood what this is. This is I'm in an RV spot with a what they call a casita, a little building that doesn't have plumbing. It has electricity. It's got a place for me to watch TV and a desk for me to work at. But my cooking and showering and sleeping all still happens in my little trailer. So it's a home base. It's an adjunct, but it's still, I don't. This guy, I think, felt kind of betrayed. Sometimes it's hard to tell when people are kidding or not. And I couldn't really tell whether he was kidding. So what do we have up here? We have all sups. I kind of like all sups, so we'll go in here and $279. That's not bad, right? For unlimited. Well, there's not much here, is there? There's just a couple of pumps. But there's a spot for me right there, isn't there? Right there. Well, you can see me maybe pump. There's not going to be any audio though, because I didn't bring a remote microphone with me. Oh, I can pull up here. This guy's leaving to leave room for somebody else. Here we go. So $2.80 per gallon. That's what I round off. 2.79.
But you have a couple dollars for change on you I can have, sir?
No, thank you. So that was someone just walking up randomly and asking me for money, and generally I'm not big on that, on doing that. Not that I'm not charitable, but someone walking up and asking for money just randomly like that, and I feel it's a little uncomfortable. So where was I? So I was talking about all the options there are for holidays, and then I got into the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous thing, and there are all kinds of opportunities that present for you in Quartzsite, which is one of the reasons I'm such a big proponent of Quartzsite for nomads, because it really is a place where people gather for a few months, for like November, December, January, every year, and like-minded people show up there, and there's the opportunity to establish friendships and really start to feel part of the nomad community. So I really highly recommend it. So we are at $50. I'm going to bet that we're going to end up pretty close to $100. What do you think for filling the tank up? It's only 20 gallons so far. I bet I take pretty darn close to 30. It's a 36-gallon tank, and it was showing maybe 45 miles left. Yeah, I'm watching that young lady, and she's walking up to cars and rapping on windows asking for money. And I think looks like an employee is coming out and asking her, please don't do that. And I'm not sure if it were my business, I would want someone to be doing that at my business. You'll see a little bit of that in Quartzsite. I've seen people panhandling in Quartzsite. One of the classic places is somebody will have a sign standing at the exit of McDonald's on the street there with a sign. But I've not had anyone walk up to me in the years I've been going there and spending a lot of time in town. I've not had someone walk up to me asking me for money, like just happened here. So while you're going to see some panhandling in Quartzsite, it's not by any means a risky thing. $91.61. Let's see. So that was 33 and change, 33.06. So 33 gallons, and it's a 36-gallon tank. So I had 3 gallons left. Now, when I'm towing, 3 gallons will take me about between 25 and 30 miles. So there's been times too far away from a gas station and I sweat bullets. I was just talking to a friend of mine. I was talking about my trip to Quartzsite, and one of the things I'll often do when I'm going to Quartzsite is I hate going through Phoenix. It's a huge city and it's very congested. I'll be heading west on Interstate 10, and before Phoenix I'll get out and hit Interstate 8 south, and I'll skirt. It adds a few miles, but I will skirt that. I'll avoid Phoenix, and there's a way to go where you just can go into Yuma, and then you take Highway 95 north out of Yuma, and that's what I was going to do. There's an alternate way that makes it a little shorter, but I didn't take that. I took the 8 all the way into Yuma. And keep in mind, the road between Yuma and Quartzsite, I think it's about 70 miles or so, and it's desolate. There's the only thing that's out there is military land, and there's no services. There's nothing. And when I did it, I didn't pay attention to my gas gauge. And apparently, when I was going through Yuma, it was really low, and I got maybe 10 miles outside of town, and bing, that thing that says 50 miles left goes off, and I go, oh, whoa, 50 miles, where am I? And I calculated where I was, and I had about 65 or 70 miles to go, and it's saying, you're going to be empty in 50 miles, buddy. And I did have 5 gallons of gas in the can in my back. But what I didn't realize when I went to put that gas in, there was an adapter that you need to use that. And I didn't have the adapter. And it turns out, well, I did. I just didn't know where it was in my truck. But it wasn't available to me on that trip. And I spilled probably more than I put in there. Long story short, when I got to my destination, which was La Posa South, camping with some friends, it had said 0 miles left for quite a while. And I dropped my trailer, and it was another 4 miles to go into town. And I was skeptical of whether I was going to make it into town. But I made it into town and filled up, and I think I had a half a gallon left. Less than a half a gallon. So, all right, we're going to go in and Dottie, it's a little warm in here, I think. So we're going to put the AC on. We're going to leave the car going for you. How's that sound? And how about max AC? There's max AC. Okay, we'll turn this off and we'll be right back. Well, guys, I've been in the parking lot here for quite a while. I got my bin and I opened up the back to sort of switch out the stuff and get the old bin ready for the garbage. And the new bin wouldn't fit in. So I had to open up my back and I had to completely climb up in there and rearrange everything so the new bin would fit in. And that took about 20 minutes. No kidding. So, and I tried filming part of that and I hit a wrong button or something and it was completely overexposed. And it was a mess. It was a mess. And it took me another 10 minutes of fiddling with this camera to get it back to where I wanted it. You know, these expensive cameras are great, but there's so much in terms of settings and such to do. It's pretty tough. I have a little bit of a temptation to pick up something for dinner. I don't think so. I'm not going to. I think I've got plenty of stuff at home, and I'm just not that hungry. That's good. That's a good sign. And I think it may be because I cold stopped all the sugary stuff I was eating. I mentioned that in a prior video. I had been losing weight pretty quickly, and I thought, well, the solution to that is I'll just buy some sugary dessert type things. And so I did that, and I did that for about 2 months, and guess what happened? Shock upon shock. I gained weight back. I didn't weigh myself, but I was thinking, I'm feeling like I'm gaining weight. And I went to the doctors. Of course, they weigh you, and they went, ooh, that's not good. I'm not a physiological diet expert, but I suspect that the sugary stuff, well, one, it's not good for my type 2 diabetes, and two, I think it probably was stimulating my appetite a little bit more than usual. And because I've been pretty good today, I'm trying to think, what have I had to eat today? I'm really going to have to think about this. I had some cream cheese and crackers, maybe 4 crackers. That's all I've had, and it's 1:14. So I did buy a whole roasted chicken. I'll be going through that for the next couple of days. I'm going to try to stick to high protein stuff. And I've got a couple of frozen meals that the only thing bad about them are course, the high sodium. But broccoli and chicken, broccoli and chicken, broccoli and beef for a couple of months that I'm off. So I feel like I'm back on track, so to speak. And anyway, I'll when I get to throw away the old bin, I'm going to I think I'll put it's still usable, so I'll put it out to see if anybody wants it. But it's I'll put it out by the dumpster to see if anyone wants it. And I'll show you the new one. So I'll hang up until then. All right. Well, I'll show you what I did back here. This is the new one, and the old one is, I'm gonna have to I just realized I have to take care of my thing here. There. So this was the old one. It's kind of mostly broken, so we're gonna go ahead and put that in here. I hope they're not saying you should have broken that plastic box down. I don't think that's very realistic. But let me tell you, remember that game Tetris? I certainly had to play Tetris in here to get this so it'll fit, but I'm very happy. Now it's hard to take the lid off. And all my stuff is in there nice and solid. That's good. It was only $8. I don't think it was too much more than that cheap one that I had. So there we are. So I'm still having problems with my radio head. I thought I had it fixed. There's just some incompatibility issues between the incompatibility issues between the 26.2 operating system on the iPhone and the Android radio head here, where I think one of the other is looking for a, when you go in and is looking for a handshake when you connect versus USB, and it's just not happening. I don't know how to make that happen other than to reset network settings every single time on the phone. We certainly don't want to do that. Also, it would work just as well doing the hotspot Wi-Fi, but unfortunately, that doesn't work consistently either. It'll be broadcasting the hotspot, but the head unit won't pick it up until you go into settings and you look at it. Then it'll connect. I do not get it. Don't understand. Okay, what's going on here? This is not my day for handling this camera. Anyway, I'm gonna dig deeper into this Radiohead iPhone thing, see if I can come up with a solution. But anyway, that's today. That's Friday. That's done tomorrow. I'll be hooking up the trailer, packing the last things, and Sunday morning going to be taking off for Quartzsite. Can't wait. See you tomorrow.